What is up, good people? Welcome back to the stream. Let's get in the vibe. Let's get in the space. Lots of new exciting things to share. And good to have you here. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. What are we doing? Well, take a listen. This has got a Eastern feel. It's a sort of a down-tempo cyberpunk themed track that I'm currently working on using Ableton. And I think it's starting to sound pretty nice. It kind of gates out there. It's cool. Alright, so I'm just... Cool. Alright, so we don't have an arrangement yet. You might be able to see that if you're a fan of Ableton. If you just joined and you're interested in what I'm doing, you're welcome to leave a chat message. I enjoy chatting to people while I work. Otherwise, if you're familiar with the channel, welcome back. Thanks for joining. This is where you get a nice calming dose of music production and music sort of industry chat. I am a Creative Commons music producer. That means that most of my output doesn't go into music charts and artist profile type stuff. It goes into libraries that get used by other creators in their independent games and videos, and sometimes I get picked up for a TV show or something like that, which is always great. But for the most part, I serve the community of independent creators with this really independently produced stuff. I mean, I'm in a garage, right? So like, I've been here for a couple of for about 2 years now. Every place I've lived, I've crafted a space. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, but I always just make the best of it, and that's what we're doing today. We're making the best of everything despite limitations and putting out some not bad music as a result. This is starting to sound very nice. There's not much I have to do with this. Cool, so I think what we'll do, while I'm chatting, I'll just do the bounce. So let's stop it there. Welcome to the channel, and thanks for joining. Yeah, like I said, lots to share, but I think I just want to get into the musical space first. So let's start by just doing a bounce of this track. I'm going to be triggering these scenes from session view so that they show up in arrangement view, and that way we'll have a sequential timeline of the track, which we can then bounce out and publish to all of the various platforms, including Spotify and all of the streaming platforms, but mainly geared towards FreeMusicArchive and music libraries where you can directly download this type of stuff that I make and use it in your own productions without worrying about any copyright. Okay, let's get going. So here we go. And it's going to start recording now. Oh man, I've done good with this one. This is a nice one. Okay. This is the preamble, and what I'm doing now is just looking for the point at which it's supposed to end. There, this note's getting triggered. And I think it's supposed to end around about here. So let's trigger the next scene. 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is now the main melody of the track coming through. Let's observe it. Okay, we'll do 2 of these. Very broody, lovely. There's another one. And we can go into scene 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got some texture coming out here, which is great. Looks like we've hit a snag. Okay. Something went wrong there, but no problem, I know what to do. So, yeah, one of the issues I face with this copy of Ableton and my current PC setup is that it's kind of in need of a bit of an upgrade. Like a lot of independents like me who live and, well, who work from these types of basement rooms, you do the best with what you got. So let's keep recording from here. It should automatically play from scene 3. There we go. got a problem with the audio now. Something has not. Something's decided to underdeliver. Okay, so one of the issues for that could be... Okay, what happened there? I don't know. For some reason, scene 1 turned off. Sorry, the bus pre-master turned off. There it is. Cool, it's back. Alright. Just out of interest, here's what's running on the bus, on the pre-master bus. Oops. Sorry about the crunchiness. Again, got issues with optimization. Try not to let it keep me up at night. Okay. Alright, kids, and this is it. We just, oof, crunch. We're just doing the bounce, man, just doing the bounce. What we could actually do, just to mitigate this problem for now, is delete some of these horrible, unused plugins. I think that's nice, and we're going to trigger the next scene. Just let's go for it. There's some nice Radiohead type strings. Lovely. Okay. Should do a couple more of those. Jeez, this is actually turning into a track of some length. Most of my tracks are like 2 minutes, 2 minutes 10. This one's coming in at over 3 by the looks of it. And now this melody just keeps noodling around. It's so beautiful. Oh, crunching is horrible and really takes away from my vibe, but anyway, stay positive. Last scene. Ah, that familiar loop. Oh, it's open, spacious. Cool. This is definitely one of the top favorite tracks that I've written in this collection that I'm putting together of cyberpunk music. Okay. Alright, and then at this very ending point, how you end these tracks is important. Sometimes storytellers want the ending of a track to lead from one scene to the next, to transition between moments in the story. So what we're going to do is just, I think, duplicate these last 2 bars. And then we're going to go like this without the... Okay, let's just get rid of all texture. Just put that, make that plucked Eastern instrument very bare. 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I feel like this delay we could improve a little bit upon, just because I'm kind of responding to it a little bit impulsively, but let's take a look at the delay. Okay, so I want this delay to have a bit more feeling to it. So I'm going to give it a irregular, unchained left-right sync pattern. So it's going to hear it. You're going to hear it a little bit stereo now. And we can also turn the feedback way up, I think, just in general. I want this to be a plus value so that it can be a little bit lazy. Okay, and then all of this last, the last couple of passages, I'm gonna actually just modify it a little bit so it's not a copy. Take a listen to this. How about an octave up? Okay, well, either way, that's fine. Now, there's a lot we can do to make this richer and, you know, do the mixing stuff on it. So let's just see. Let's just see how this goes. Now, I've got a little trick here. I've got the reference track, which is the actual Cyberpunk 2077 game soundtrack. Unfortunately, I can't play it for you because I'll get flagged on copyright. So, unfortunately, I just have to hear it on my own, which you can't really hear at the moment. Okay, so there's a lot of layers and things going on here. It's far more busy than my track, so I'm listening to the reference track. You can't hear it, but I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, so let's get back into my composition now. So we're listening to it here, we can see it progressing in arrangement view. And what I'm going to focus on going forward, because I'm happy with the composition now. So before we release this as a Creative Commons track, I want to be a little bit more, I want to make it sound basically better. I want to make it sound more modern and better. Okay, so let's do what we can there. Alright, cool. So yeah, if you joined recently or you just joined the stream, welcome. My name's John. I make Creative Commons music, and yeah, good to have you here. This is a Cyberpunk theme pack that I'm putting together. All sorts of Ableton instruments and devices, as you can see here on the left. There's a folder called My Stuff, and in that I've got Cyberpunk. And these are curated devices that I am making specifically for this project. They're all included in the download. Once I'm done, I'll stick it up on Patreon as a project file, and all of the actual tracks themselves will be freely available via, well, a lot of different services where you can use them for your own productions. That's what we do, kids. I love this gong. Okay, so first step, let's see how this sounds with our world famous super compressor by the name of OTT, which I'm going to search for in all results. I always hit stop before I stick OTT on the pre-master, because it has if we run the risk of blowing your head off. OTT is literally over the top. That's what it means. So let's just hear how this impacts it. I know that to get this film score sound, you need quite a bit of noisy and overcompressed, wide stereo type of mixing. So, no, that's definitely not nice. Okay. Nah. Nah. OTT is good for kind of dance music and all of that. Maybe if I just dial it back a little bit. So input down. You can hear. Like it's kind of squashing it a bit. So no, that's not the intention here. This is a mysterious track. It's not something that's supposed to hit you in the face and just be like. That's not the intention of this track. I can demonstrate that effect again if anyone wants me to. I'm having a good day today because I got some rest, and because you might notice in my there somewhere up there, the goal for this month has gone up by $6 because I got a new patron. So thank you, Camille. I appreciate that. I hope that the downloads that you get as a result are super fun to edit, and I hope that you get a real kick out of being a patron. I hope you stick around like I'm continually promising I will do and delivering on those promises. Okay, next up, we don't really need these textures, so let's just do one last little test and see if we can't add a layer of noisiness to it. I'm gonna just bring open the mixer again there, and let's go and find that enabled one. Definitely nothing tonal. That for some reason has been disabled. Let's take a look and see what the vibe is, kids. Okay. Right, why is it not on? Because the send is set to external input instead of no input, and that means that the monitor should be auto. There we go. Not no input. It's just an input track. Okay, so what is this actually? It's just an effects track. Okay, because we don't need that. Good. Doing a bit of housekeeping here. If you've just joined, drop me a chat. I love chatting to people while I work. What are we doing? We are previewing these different texture channels, which I've called text, and I'm just going through them one by one and making sure that this project isn't bogged down and getting glitched out and all that kind of stuff. Cool. Yeah, there's been some progress lately with this channel. Happy stuff happening on my end. Slow, but I did a full 1 hour chat with Chris, who runs the YouTube channel Signs of Life, with the number 1 for sign and life. Got into his stuff because one of my patrons, one of my YouTube subscribers said I should check him out. Anyway, it turns out we're on the same page. So I spent an hour with him and John Audio. Oh, this might work actually. Yeah, we chatted about some unusual stuff actually, not just about music and synthesizers and VSTs, but we ended up chatting about all this Creative Commons stuff, and it gave me a sense of I should be focusing on Creative Commons music and educating people around it, and what it is to make it, and what it means to release it as Creative Commons and all that type of stuff. So it's all the confusing music industry jargon and stuff that I've learned because my sort of semi-career depends on it, and I want to share that now. So I'm going to be focusing more on just kind of imparting that knowledge in the future. So if you're interested in Creative Commons and what it means, then I'm your guy. Come check it out, hit me up, drop a chat. Okay, this glitch over here is working nicely. It's just a bit too freaking loud. So we're going to search for our handy -12 utility in my list of things. I'm going to actually just add this as maybe a -24 is better. Let's just mess around with this bit. Okay. Let's get an arpeggiator on there, and I'm just going to drag one over from here. And now let's just see if I hold this down. Yeah, this works quite well. So take it from the top again. Good. I'm going to just use this this entire thing is going to be one long MIDI clip, and oops, just do that again. One long MIDI clip, which is just a texture. So it doesn't really matter which note it is. Let's just simplify this layout. There we go. And we can take it all the way to the end there. Okay. Take it all the way to the end. And there we go. To the end, to the end. Na 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 na. Okay. Now we should have this sound going the whole way through, which is quite cool. Okay, let's take that up a little bit so you can hear it. Okay. Yep. Yeah, do let me know stream quality. I know there is some glitching going. That's my computer working with what I got right now. Yes, this works. Right in the middle there, or on the edges. I don't actually really understand mid-side compression, but it's something I'll be wanting to figure out at some stage. So if mid-side is set to 0, that means that you hear it as a sort of standard stereo thing. Like now I can hear it in the left and the right because I've got these two things. I think the panning of these two is going to be hard left and right. I think that's what's going on. But if mid-side is set to... Oops, that's the gain. If mid-side... Where has it gone now? There. Now all I can hear is the mid-side. All I can hear now is the signal right in the middle, like a weaker version. And I still hear it in the middle. So yeah. So that's supposed to be side and that's supposed to be mid. And the mode is left, right, there. Okay, so all this phasing and stuff, I don't really understand it. I haven't got a sound engineering degree. So I just do the best I can basically and just use my ears to find out what sounds good. To me, this sounds good. Alright. Cool, so now it's a little bit heavier than it was before. A little bit noisier, which is nice. and I think that'll work just fine. Cool. Alright, cool. I'm on the right track here. This is going well. Let's see. The temptation to like add a clap and turn it into a beat, oof, it's overwhelming. But all of these soundtrack artists that I respect, I've got this thing about just disappearing into the background and leaving this big space for whatever dialogue or action is happening. So I've been listening to audio dramas recently, the BBC Sounds app. I don't know if you're a fan of British stuff, but I really am, being a English South African guy. The Brits are our former masters, like half the world, and yeah, I'm digging the sound design and the musical. This needs to be a gong here. Three, four. Cool, that kind of works. All right. Let's lose these two last ones. Okay, composition wise it's fine. I mean, there are a million ways that I could just start throwing plugins on here and VSTs that would make it sound 100% better, but I release things with the Ableton Live project self-contained, which means that I don't actually use external VSTs. I use just Ableton only instruments. This makes my life a lot harder, and I've always chosen the hard path. Maybe we could do this a bit slower. Let's see if we take this LFO and we just take it down. It's not that one, it must be this one. Cool, it's neither of those. It is not an arpeggiator. Oh, that's like a 4-man thing, yeah, I can hear it. Got a nice digital sound, that, huh? Not so big on the all of the oscillation. I can't work out why it's oscillating. It's going to be a filter. Let's get into the weeds here. LFO amount on the amp 0. Take them all off. Editing the it's the auto pan. Okay, let's go actually undone all of that. Let's put it all back. This is quite a cool texture. I like it. It's a bit too tonal though. I prefer it to be noisier. It's a noise filter. Okay, we are in. Okay, so this filter to res, we don't actually need such a high res value there. This can be a sweep. Let's turn this into a sweep. Okay, we'll need this for something like segues, changes of... Working out a little plan here to make this nice and toasty. Envelope 2, yeah, there we go. Cool. Envelope 2 is frequency 1, filter 1, sorry, is going to envelope 2, and I want that to be more. Okay, that's a negative value. Let's try 3. Yeah, okay, so you can see envelope 3 is low attack, and then so we're gonna should be a there should be a long release value on this though. Still not releasing. It's because the amp envelope has got a low release value, so it never actually makes it to the envelope, to the filter. So now when I release, it should slowly dial back on the filter. There, like that. Okay. Okay. Good, I like that. Now let's turn that into an effect. We don't need the res peaking like that. I mean, it's interesting, but... Okay, let's try it again. So we'll do amp can decay, sorry, release a bit slower. And envelope 3, which is our dominant one here, is going to release at the same tempo. Now when we go to the matrix... There we go, that's what we want. Okay. Alright, now we just record this effect. It's an E flat. So we'll just take it back a bar. Now just go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then that's where we want it to start repeating. So it actually is a little bit slow. Okay, let's try again. 2, 2, 3, 4. That's the loop. Okay, cool. Just crop that, crop clip, and you know what I thought would be a good idea? Keyboards that are program specific, mass produced cheaply. So you could get an Ableton hardware keyboard that could be not key mapped and all of that, but just literally dedicated functions. So you could have a second keyboard here that was just an Ableton keyboard with its own microprocessor and everything. And so there's a button for like join and loop, or a customizable rack of buttons for like, you know, running scripts or whatever. You can maybe customize the scripts. I don't know. That'd be cool. I think so little development has happened with regards to keyboards. Like the QWERTY keyboard was invented in like the 40s or the 50s. No, sorry, the typewriter. So it was like the 1890s or something. And this thing has just not gone away. We just are so addicted to the QWERTY keyboard that we've like, it's survived every jump in technological evolution. I mean, even when mobile phones came along, that was like a chance, you know, like, okay guys, mobile computers. Nope, the QWERTY keyboard's right in there. We just can't shake our addiction to it. I think it's going to last. I think it's going to outlast humanity. I think when they come finally for us, you know, the extraterrestrials, they're just going to see an empty planet just filled with QWERTY keyboards everywhere. Okay, enough rubbish. Let's listen to this. Okay, that's good, except it's just decaying a little bit. It's attacking a little bit too fast. So we need to just bring that envelope filter value out a little bit, and now take a listen. That's it. Great, that sounds better. Okay, good. Now it's just a bit loud, so we'll get our world famous -12 utility. Make it -6 actually. Actually, no, we're already -7 under. So stick a utility on that and rename it. We're going to call it FX Swell. I like that. Now, one thing I don't like about it is that it just doesn't quite reach that high frequency, that high buzzy stuff. Gilp, what's up? Nice to see you again. Gilp says, do you really believe in extraterrestrials? Yes. I think my gut feel deathbed answer is yes. Because I believe in, I don't know, maths, statistics. I think every time I see a little weed growing in a crack in a concrete pavement, a sidewalk, I think that thing has outlived, it's survived being crushed by concrete. Maybe not the original seed that survived, but a relative or some, related by species, has managed to somehow find its way to the water and the light, and now it's growing up through concrete. So that to me proves, like every day, like I look around, there's proof that like when the conditions are favorable, life not only exists, but thrives. And to take it a step further, I would say life has no choice but to thrive. The emergent property of life developing is a prerequisite. It's a natural law of the universe. So with that very kind of scientific view, I find it very hard to believe that the Earth is the only planet which has favorable conditions for life. That is a very narrow view of life. Life could exist in gaseous form. Life could exist in psychological form only, like machine intelligence is a form of life. And yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on the matter. Life cannot help but exist in a universe where its existence is so rewarded by being just in the favorable circumstances. It's the same with creativity, actually. Creativity can't help but thrive when the conditions are right. So when I go to the forest and I walk around and there's no one to disturb me, then I start singing and I start making up stories in my head, because that is the conditions. Those are the conditions of where I am. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for, this frequency. Go on, let's take that res up and this one down. That's what I'm looking for with that sound effect, yeah. That's still a bit loud though. It's very loud. This freaking crunching of my computer really sucks. I don't know what to do about it. Now there's a different type of high frequency bus. This is all of this stuff actually. All of these texture buses, all 4 of them. Let's just listen to them one by one. This one really lo-fi, low volume. This one also very low. Oh, this one's got OTT on it, okay. So we're going to get the utility out and take it down 24 dB here. And then hike this up to the 0 level. What about you, Gilp? What's your take on extraterrestrial life, not necessarily humanoid, aliens, but just life existing in any form whatsoever? I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Oh, there's actually nothing happening in this texture channel. So what's the purpose of this thing? Maybe we can reduce some CPU load, delete that. Okay, let's add this FX swell as a different let's add it as a different effect. So I'm going to add this now to my let's call it needs a better word than FX swell. What does that sound like to you? What does this sound effect sound like to you, bro? To me it sounds like we should get this matrix. Let's get the res up. Yeah, let's get the res up even more. That's it. It's got a very subtle vibe, but I like it. Okay. Take that down. Okay, and the rest doesn't really matter. But I like the way that this kind of hugs the sides of your head and sounds like a bit mental. I'm gonna throw OTT on the top of that too, because I want to hear how it sounds just out the box with my least favorite compressor. Okay, Something going on here, something weird going on here. I just want to check something out real quick. Aha, sorry, I got the wrong stream address, so your chat should show up in the stream now, Gil. There we go. Cool. Right, where were we? OTT on the FX swell. Cool. Let's hear it. Hello. Yeah, that's very loud, of course. So again, it just squashes it. There's no subtlety. I don't like OTT for something. Okay, cool. So Gilb's asking, do I really believe in extraterrestrials? And I gave him a pretty scientific answer. And yeah, short answer is yes, but not aliens with 2 eyes and 2 legs that, you know, abduct Americans. It's more like bacteria, I guess. Extraterrestrial. I mean, there's this interesting comment once. I went to a couple of Hare Krishna meetings when I was younger, and I read some of the stuff. And the guy, Prabhupada, who's written most of the dogma, has this kind of attitude that like life is everywhere, and you know, there's even life on the moon. And I thought of that, like, how can you say that? How can you say there's life on the moon? You know, like we've shown that there's no life on the moon, but then like every so often something happens. About 5 or 6 years ago, they discovered that there was actually water on the moon in the form of ice. So like my entire life and all of my schooling, I'd been taught there's no water on the moon, but technically there is, you know, it just needs a bit of heat. And then like, you know, 5 years from now, they'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, there are the remnants of bacteria on the moon. And then they'll be like, oh, they are da-da-da. And so it doesn't seem like such a stretch to me for someone to actually bring back conclusive evidence from somewhere outside of Earth of a living bacteria. It doesn't seem like too far a stretch for me, because like, yeah, our definition of what constitutes life keeps broadening, including machine life, you know, machine intelligence. Cool, I like this, and I'm just going to call it, let's call it buzz. I'm going to call it subtle buzz. It's an FX. It's actually texture, yeah. Cool. Subtle buzz works for me. There it is. It's in the list of patches that I'm putting together for this. Okay, kids, that is it. I think that's it for now. We're gonna wrap this one up, and I'm going to move on to the next one. So bear with me while I load up the next channel over here, the next project at least. Well, actually, no. Let's do what I usually don't do, and let's spend a little bit more time on this, and then I can get to the. I'll get to the next one tomorrow. Okay. What it needs is atmospheric, sort of ambient atmosphere. So let's see what we can do with regards to that. Just like general noise, basically. A noise generator. What happens if we stick noise into the all results? These are samples. I'm afraid you can't hear them while I scroll them, but I'll just play this in the meantime so you can hear it. I don't want to turn this into a beat track. That's not the idea. This is an atmospheric soundtrack for a dystopian story or video. So something that can be like, even though it's very subtle and it's not blaring your head off, it can be used for something that creates a certain mood, like an emotion. That's what I'm trying to do here. Emotion. We are making emotion. We are making the vessel, the conditions for emotion to arise. I like that. Let's add it as a sample. Okay. Alright, staying positive here, let's keep on with it. This is a sample, we can take it gain down 18, it sounds pretty loud. Let's turn it into a pre-sample, something that ramps up. Let's do it like that. Let's do that, yeah. Okay, I'm going to copy it and put it here. So it'll start the track with like, ah. No, we want the climax to be on the drop. So it gets a bit specific here, but yes, we want that to be exactly there. Okay. Just something atmospheric, and then we can add a long reverb to this. This is where we need to kind of create the noise. Actually, it could be the freeze of the sample. We don't use freeze reverb a lot, so let's experiment with that. Ambient. So we're going to call it sample ambient. Cool. Now, the important thing now is that we have to treat the reverb that we give it as a kind of an instrument. We've got to give the reverb real character. So let's start with hybrid reverb, which is the best Ableton Live 11 default or native reverb, and give it a listen. I'm going to just solo that out. I'm going to give the feedback a lot. Freezes can be on. There we go. So let's turn this. Okay, now let's just question a couple of. What does this do? Adds the input signal to the frozen reverb. When disabled, freeze will endlessly sustain the output of the reverb, and any additional signals will not be processed when enabled. Okay, cool. So it just keeps it from taking in new audio data. Okay, great. The bass crossover, the algorithm dark horn, let's try there. Quartz doesn't really make a difference. Shimmer. No, we don't want that to go once it starts. Tides. Oh, this gives you a nice rate thing. Cool. And you could parallel and serial convolution. Okay, let's try it again. This is cool. I've never actually messed around with hybrid reverb too much. Okay, we don't really want convolution. Algorithm. Right, next thing I know what to do is sidechain the kick. No, that the sidechain device is... My stuff should actually be under favorites. Can we do it like that? Favorites, my stuff? No. Okay, fine. What am I looking for? Sidechain. My buses. Okay guys, we're going to move forward here with this reverb unit. I'm busy putting together. This is quite cool. Alright, so we're going to take it from... Where is the kick actually happening? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Alright. So sidechain freeze. Here we go. So it's lost it. Okay. Cool. Let's take the release value up. Nah, it's still releasing it too late. I'm trying to craft a specific sound here. That actually isn't it. So let's change the IR to something interesting. So it's on algo. We could actually do it in serial. Experimenting with different reverb sounds here. Also, we're not discounting the effect that we can get by noisifying the reverb. Let's try this. That's way too noisy. Let's try the amount down. That's kind of more in line with it. We're just going to get a loop going of this initial and then just 3, 4. Okay, now. Cool. I'm just screwing around here with some noise effects that we might get from this hybrid reverb. Kind of think that's a bit too much, but yeah, I'm just trying to get something interesting for the remainder of this track. That's not quite the quality I'm going for though. Maybe erosion isn't the best tool for the job. Just turn off freeze there, and I'm going to look for an effect, audio effect, which is yeah, kind of a modulator maybe. Those are all Max for Live devices. Reverb and resonance. Corpus, not really what I'm looking for. Corpus tends to tonify things, whereas what I want to do is the opposite. I want to, you know, make it into more of an atonal noise sound. So drive and color might be the way. Erosion, overdrive, redux, all of these things are kind of in the right direction. Let's just try the vinyl distortion. Okay, sorry, let's just solo that out so we can hear what we're doing. What I'm doing, if you just joined, is I'm making Creative Commons music in a cyberpunk genre. So Creative Commons music is stuff that you will typically use in your own productions. Independent game filmmakers tend to download my stuff and use it in their own productions. All you got to do is credit me, and it's free. And yeah, I'm getting to a point now where I'm happily growing a patronage, which is very, very meaningful to me. And if you want to check that out, there's free stuff in the YouTube description. Check the link in the description, you'll find some free stuff. Jeez, I'm not really getting there with this sound I'm trying to create. Nah, vinyl's definitely not it. Okay, let's try again with erosion. Snores. What is snores? Let's try snores, shall we? Not bad, but definitely we gotta take down the EQ on this. This is not something that needs to exist in the high end. It's actually a very mid-range thing. So let's turn it into a mid-range thing. Boom. And a nice hard high cut there, and low can roll off. That's it. It's a little bit too tonal for me, but anyway. Three, 4. Yeah, I'm not quite getting it though. Not quite getting the effect I'm going for. Anyway, getting deep into the weeds here. 3, 4. Okay, maybe hybrid reverb isn't the right one. Maybe the reverb we're looking for is the regular one. Let's try that. So just out of interest. Yeah, maybe duplicating the reverbs is the way to go too. Let's see. Or freezing the second reverb. Let's try it again. This with the new settings. Cool. Freeze off, and here we go. Or if you leave freeze on and you start it up, does it actually take it in? No, it doesn't. That's what the previous, the hybrid reverb tried to improve on with that functionality there. Okay, we'll take it down here. Cool. And then this can actually come up quite a bit over here. Just a little bit of kind of rain, like a rain effect. Okay. I want to find the resonant frequencies and cut them. There, that's it. See, without it, it just sounds like a little bit less interesting. Okay, good. Now that we've got this sound, we want to actually duplicate this track to have a second source of a sweep. Because I'm finding that the doesn't work. It kind of tries to act as a sweep, but it's not powerful enough. So in the last couple of minutes of the stream, let's just get a nice sweep, just a regular. I check in the samples where Vengeance lives. Vengeance sweeps, saving the day since 1947. Maybe that could do it. Now, one thing I've learned about these Vengeance sweeps is that they come in at about 4,000 decibels, so you really have to take them down. And let's just sync it up to the other one. Okay. Show your work, kids. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Okay, sync it up there, and this is going to pre-master, but it's not too low. Minus 18 should do it. Good. And it's also got the same effects on it, which I don't want. We are going to delete all of that and this. Just use the sweep as is. Cool. So I'm just doing a little bit of sound design for the intro to this track. That's not quite right. It sounds like someone opening a bottle. Not right. Let's get a nice... That actually sounded okay. That sounds good, yeah. Now again, take it down about 18 dB because Vengeance samples are super loud. Okay, that sounds right. Yes, okay, and then we'll put the gong effect in there since we actually haven't used it much. So I'm going to take the gong, just stick on the correct track. There we go, cool. And here we go, from the very beginning. Good, now it's just timing it so it sounds a little bit less aborted, like early aborted. So I'm going to move it in. And then of course to counteract that we're gonna need some kind of crash, some kind of long crash. Unfortunately these are not... I've gone through a bunch of crashes and I mean I could use the stuff from the contact library, but the idea here is to keep these packs self-contained, that so that users can download them and start editing them without any issues whatsoever, without any missing samples or anything like that. Okay, so now we're going to find an appropriate crash. Definitely not those ones. Also not the right sound. I mean, what I could do quite easily is just resample it. So let's go with a resample track. And I've got one of those right up here. And then we're going to load up Contact to just resample a nice sounding library. So let's do that. Contact is loading. Oh man, yeah, I'm quite happy about it. I've had 4 patrons in 4 weeks, and that makes me very excited. I enjoy contributing value to those people who sign up. That's the main thing. So go check out what's on offer. I'm just constantly pushing myself to give more high quality stuff away. Okay, Middle East might be a good option, but actually just the orchestral center percussion. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, we do have concert crashes, PRT crash cymbals. Let's try that. Concert toms. I'm just going to resample one of these real quick. Okay, where is... There it is. Oh, you won't be able to hear that yet. Let's just... There we go. Okay, that's not right. Let's get into this keyboard. We can hear it. These are all sort of clamped cymbals. Suspended cymbals. Alright, let's get rid of that. Nothing happening there. This is orchestral percussion, so it is the right bank or library to be working in. That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Cool. So let's just resample that. I'm going to call it crash or contact suspended. We should actually just create a one master file for all of these things. Better. Okay, here we go. So resampling is on. And so is, we're going to call this crash suspended, right? Rename it. Okay, good. And solo that too. Just these samples are so good, huh? Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and long. There we go. Gotcha. Was that a crackle here? Yes, it was, unfortunately. Problem with my PC, so we got to redo that. That's the VST that I'm resampling, so that I don't have to include it in the download, because all the packs I release are self-contained, zero dependency Ableton Live templates. And let's go again. It was that one. Okay, here we go, resampling, and go 2, 3, 4. I think it crashed out again. Let's try it again. 3, 4. Okay, I think the problem is that we are trying to do it in the wrong place. 2. Good. Okay, let's try and see how that works with the rest of the track. Holding thumbs, guys. Holding thumbs. Holding thumbs. Holding thumbs. Just a weird saying. Why would you hold your thumbs? What does that prove? Cool. And here we go. I think it's going to have to come down a bit. Maybe even actually be behind a reverb. Let's get a reverb in there. Just a standard reverb, see how it works, see how it sounds. Are you ready? The suspense of this crash suspended is killing me. Good. It's a bit tonal, but let's see. Yes, that is a nice, powerful intro. I like it. And we are going to just duck it in. Okay. Bring it forward a little bit. There we go. Cool. Now we got it. Now we got something. Okay, cool, kids. That's it. My time's up. Time to go be a dad. Thank you so much for joining. Peace. Shantaram. Namaste. There are a couple of things I wanted to update you about in my world, but that's going to have to wait because I just didn't get the time to blab on about myself today. But yeah, good things are happening here with the channel. Do stick around. I've got 10 more releases coming up on YouTube in the next couple of days, or weeks actually. And yeah, patrons are on the up, and I've got an interview with Signs of Life. So if you haven't heard of Signs of Life, one of my YouTube subscribers actually put me onto him. He's running a new podcast series called Harmonic Horizons, which is like music producers. But we took the time to talk more about like just being a creative person and how you should be adapting to the era of, like online stuff. Because a lot of the activity that's going on these days with like musicians is like, it's just out of touch with reality. Like everyone wants to be a star, and it's just, there are only so many seats at the top. So what I have been advocating for a while now is Creative Commons music, which is what I do. And that is basically serving the people around you by allowing them to use your work. So if you're a music producer, you might want to consider alternatives to that whole sort of Spotify, get noticed, get plays, get signed by a label. That whole sort of myth is not for me, and maybe it's not for you either. So that's kind of where we stand with this channel and sort of ideology. Feel free to join. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. UTC. And yeah, I'm going to keep going with this daily live streams until the 16th of this month. And after that, we've got some changes happening. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted about that. Cool, thanks a lot. And I'm just going to play out with this track and see how it sounds. Enjoy your time, and see you guys again soon. Adios.